Hello and welcome back to Planet Stronghold Colonial Defence. I went blank for a second there, but it does that a lot. Captain, have you seen Alicia? Aren't the kids supposed to be in school at this time? Yes, but she never returned to class after recess. When Suki brought up the surveillance cameras and Alicia was heading towards the barracks. I can help you look for her, and if I find her, you'll be the first I tell. Before you can head out, your communicator starts to beep. You see that it's coming from Mario, and it's marked as urgent. What's happening? Captain, someone got into the weapons locker and took a rifle. There's one problem. The fingerprints don't match the locker's owner. Do you know who it is? That's why I called you first. It's Alicia. How could she open a weapons locker? Fortunately, almost anyone can open it with a sneeze and a bobby pin. Hell, Captain Alex can thump it on its side and it'll pop open. The communicator lights up once more, and this time Jelena is on the other end. If it isn't one thing, it's another. What's going on, Jelena? Pardon me, Captain, but Mario reported some missing weaponry. I've been able to track it and... well, it's heading towards a hunting preserve. But Alicia doesn't hunt. Couldn't tell you what she's doing, just where she is. Why can I catch up when I catch up to my daughter? I think you need to take a few minutes. I'll bring her back and then you two can talk. Charlotte gives a slight nod of assent, and you head on out. As you approach the gun's location, you notice a small, red-headed humanoid figure kneeling in the sand. Takes careful aim with a rifle that seems to be a little big for the person wielding it. Then you see 5 flashes of light, and 4 rocks on the nose of the fossil disappear in a burst of light. You quietly approach the figure from behind. 80%. Well done. Alicia jumps as you speak and swiftly points the rifle in your direction, and you instinctively dart to cover. Only after making sure she doesn't accidentally shoot, you lift your head. Sorry, Captain, you scared me? First, let me congratulate you for keeping your nerves when startled. Thanks for not taking my head off. Sorry about that, I was so focused on what I was doing. That's when I tend to make my best shots. Why are you out here? We heard the latest report about the fighting, and it seems silly to be studying the matric reproductive cycle when they're trying to kill us, them and everyone else. I mean, shouldn't we be learning how to fight? Shit. You really shouldn't swear, but as you can see, I'm practicing to help. I understand wanting to help, but this isn't the way. If we have to start arming kids, then we're in really bad shape. But when the Matrix wrecked the colony, you're not wrong. But I can promise it won't happen again. As you gather your thoughts, trying to figure out what you're going to say next, you see Alicia drop to the ground, holding a rifle to shoot while a shower falls upon you, and you hear a growl from behind. Okay, so... can't bring Charlotte with us on this mission. We can only have 25... we can only have 8 cards. Bloody hell. Alright, so... we're facing Matrix. There's not much point using the flamethrower turrets, or for that matter, the laser turrets. Ditch the walls. Ditch the scouts. Ditch a regular infantry and a marksman team. Bloody hell, limiting myself is this much is hard. Ditch the take cover cards. Ditch another sharpshooter. Okay. Not exactly got a lot to work with here, but it's not that much to kill. Only 1 more personnel, so let's deploy the sharpshooter because he'll hit them hard when they spawn. End the turn. Deploy another battle drone. Deploy the marksman team. Alright, battle drone. Kill that one, please. Turn. Deploy a turret, and that should be more than sufficient to handle whatever they throw at us. Especially if it's not that tough. Ah, it flies, so it was, so it didn't actually have to beat the thing. And it's stealthed, and I don't have anything that cancels stealth, so I'm just going to have to wait for him to attack. Aha! Nicely done, Mr. Infantryman. That was scary. I would accept you into my troop any day, though. You held your ground. But will Mom see it the same way? Do we have to tell her? Unfortunately, yes. Great. I'm going to be grounded until my next birthday. Maybe I can talk to Charlotte. Perhaps she'll go easier on you. Xavier? I don't know whether to slap your head or shake your hand. I would prefer the former over the latter. This begs the question of why you would do either, though. Well, I was a bit pissed off to see that my show, Planet Chef, wasn't airing. Instead, they were showing some kind of extreme sports show. I was about ready to turn the channel when I saw Xavier on it. Interesting. Other than Lola, I didn't know there was other show taping here. To my knowledge, there isn't, unless Alex hasn't gotten around to telling me about it. It was obviously not here, not unless Stronghold started to have mile-long tidal waves. It would take an asteroid impact to get that much water. Oh, that show, yeah. Look, I took some time off to go to Leviathan 2. It's mostly a water world. Once a year they get some really wicked weather. I was in their annual surfing competition. Is that really a smart thing to do? There's always casualties each year. I guess the fish do feed well. They do make us sign waivers. I'm surprised your family allows you to participate in such activities. Well, I can't say they approve, but they're not exactly here to stop me. It's much more difficult back in high school. Got me impressed. I always thought you were some dandy, but it looks like you have real guts. Or head injuries. Look, I've seen you get a blood sample from a giant boar grub in the middle of a firefight. At least I have control over what I do. There's no guarantee I could get another sample later. It's already burrowing into the ground. I think he has you there, Mira. Still, if I was your parents, I'd have had a heart attack. In retrospect, I do feel sorry for my nanny. I know she got a large bonus when she left. And I thought I had it rough when I was grounded for jumping off the roof with a blanket, thinking it'd act like a parachute. So, are you going back to Leviathan 2 later this year? No. I mean, if you beat it once, what chance is there in doing it again? Besides, there's something much more local I want to do. What? Gonna smack the apex around in the face? Nothing so suicidal. Look, on the other side of the planet, a dust devil of epic proportions, easily a mile wide. Wait, I know which area you're talking about. Did the Matric claim that land because they live primarily underground since the surface gets scoured clean? That's the place! I've had Rigel and Mitsuki making a special glide suit and I intend to ride the winds. Breathing the whirlwind, as it were. That sounds dangerous. Of course, I have to get permission from the local government to do so and, oh, that will be you, Captain. What do you say? Can I go? You're a lunatic. Have fun. You're a grown adult and know the risks. Go ahead. Well, don't expect me to identify the body if you don't make it. Maybe if I was 10 years younger. Well, I have to take my leave, Captain. Have a good one. Hey, I recognise that background. You're reusing things from, That's one of the backgrounds from Roommates. Or it's very, very similar, to the point where either your artist was lazy or you're doing a deliberate reference to it, and I can't tell which. Hi, Captain. I'd watch my step if I were you. Roxy's been a bit sick. You don't want to step in his vomit. For one, I'd probably eat your shoes. Indeed, as you look down, you see several piles of green bile. And closer inspection shows that they're bubbling. Roxy? The miniature yelling nougat. Who's a good girl? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Roxy loves it when you scratch behind her crest. By the way, thank you once again for allowing the importation of silk. Yeah, it's nice to have something that allows you to breathe. Assuming you sleep clothed, of course. Are you saying you sleep in the nude? I'm not saying, but it depends how good you are at clairvoyance if you want to find out. The Yallinger tilts its head towards you. It doesn't leave you alone until you give it a scratch on the back of its head. It gives a regretful squawk when you finish. I didn't expect you to have such a way with animals. Well, why would you say that? I will have you know my mother ran an animal sanctuary back in Greece. It might have something to do with how much animal experimentation you do. Those animals are especially bred for the lab, or else some unusual specimen. I don't take any pleasure in them. I didn't even know you had a pet. Oh goodness no, Roxy isn't mine. But Mira makes sure she spends one day a week helping other people's animals. And her bedside manner is much more consistent and gentle with animals than people. What do you want me to say? It's not the animal's fault if they get injured or sick, but people? But you've never had to deal with someone who got drunk and decided to do a backflip off the roof just to impress their crush. It's interesting how much anesthetic is held back for emergency use. Roxy's owner says her eggs are about ready to hatch. If you want, I'm sure you could have one. As tempting as it is, I'm afraid my duties just don't give me enough time to properly care for a pet. I fought younger. They're usually trying to keep them from eating my eyes. I'm surprised you managed to make a pet out of one. As I said, it's a miniature one. Much better natured than the wild ones. Secondly, well, people like their pets. I know there are requests to import dogs and cats, the whole works, but they've been declined. High Command says we shouldn't introduce foreign fauna to Stronghold's ecosphere. If it was a virgin planet, that would have been an admirable goal. However, besides the native animals, the aliens brought their own fauna. It's rather interesting to see the ecosystem which has developed from all the mingling. Oh, feeding time. Well, Captain, do you want to help? Perhaps. What does it entail? Take these boar grubs, chew them until they're a soft mush. I don't recommend swallowing them, they taste awful. Are you kidding me? No, Roxy's a bit under the weather and straight boar grubs would make her sicker. However, human saliva actually has a beneficial effect. Get masticating. This feels like either a practical joke. Yeah, let's find some other way to help. Perhaps there's something else you need help with. Weirded out? Interesting. Yet, how many bodies have you left in your wake unaffected? Well, I got a couple of things you can help with. If Mira suggests cleansing Rimi's anal glands, I suggest saying no. Well, it's time for me to take Roxy back to Rona. Goodbye, Captain. That was a very, very strange conversation. Okay, so let's do a job for her. Play this side mission with Mira. Captain, bear with me for a couple of minutes. I need to read this carefully to see if the water supply is contaminated. You're at the entrance of a great cave. Crystals providing a modicum of light. Mira's looking at a handheld meter. A number of small graphs and numbers rapidly shifting. Suddenly a red burst of light fills the screen. I take it red isn't a lucky colour in this instance. You would be correct, Captain. Okay, but it brings up another question. Should we go before we start spouting extra heads? Now you're just being irrational. You'd be in greater danger of cancer if you weren't sunbathing in the nude under Stronghold's sun. I didn't get the memo on that. I'll have to be careful. Captain, I thought you of all people would know better. Momentary lapse won't happen again. At least you didn't burn. I had one patient whose skin slewed off. Because of that, I can't eat beef jerky now. Well, Captain, do you want the good news or the bad news first? I'd prefer if there was no news, but can't always have our way. Well, the bad news is that this cave, and the river which runs through it, is contaminated. Good news is the contamination isn't bad enough to cause problems with the colony, at least not yet. Could it be natural? It's possible. I mean, a tremor or passing boar grub could have exposed something that's poisoning the water. However, it's probably someone trying to destroy our water supply. You make your way down to the cave, making sure to tread carefully so as not to disturb the razorwings currently sleeping overhead. Eventually you come to the end of the tunnel and see a large underground lake. You can hear rushing as it enters and exits the area. What's more disturbing is that you see several barrels on the ground. There are several squiggles on the side, writing that you don't recognise. The barrels are still a quarter full, but you don't see any prints on the ground. Damn it. We just missed who was here. Captain, he's writing his vows. Vows? The ones made of liquid. You feel a small drop of moisture hit your cheek, and you wipe it off with your arm, and see it clings to your skin like paste. Looking skyward, you see slithering among the stalactites, and then you hear a loud splash and look towards the water. Alien eyes look in your direction, before coalescing into vague humanoid shapes. And there goes any chance of me skinny dipping here. Okay, we only get 10 cards on this one, but by the sound of it, we're dealing with organic enemies, so let's do that. Yeah, I think that'll do, since I'm so limited. And yeah, before we head into this fight, I think that's an excellent point to end this part. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next.